Will new cars still be added to Forza Horizon 5, given that no new updates will be getting released? That's what I'll be covering in this video, and I have a few extra notes that most people haven't considered based off the fairly recent news that all future Forza Horizon 5 updates are pretty much going to be recycled based off community votes. It'll pretty much be just like the backstage pass, whereas I'm sure you guys might have seen, as the community or as a Forza player, you'll be able to vote on what previous Horizon Festival Playlist event you want to come into rotation for the next update. Now, most people when they heard this news just made the assumption that, oh well, if we're getting previous Horizon Festival events, then there would be no new cars, meaning that all of the cars and challenges in the voted Horizon Festival playlist would be duplicates to the previous cars that were initially in that playlist when it was first introduced in the game. Now, is this valid? I'd say it's likely. Most of the cars will probably be just the general cars that were previously in the exact same event, but it definitely doesn't mean that no new cars will necessarily be added to the game. In order to probably articulate my point, I'll have to refer to what the timeline may be for Forza Horizon 6, as it has a lot of relevance to whether it would make sense for Forza to add new cars to keep the player base kind of satisfied and interested in the game, to prevent it kind of falling off as Forza Horizon 6 comes closer and closer into fruition. Now, every single Forza Horizon game since the dawn of time, since Horizon 1, has always been announced in June and subsequently added around 3-4 months later. So if the same trend were to follow, it seems very likely that Horizon 6 will be announced in June, come out towards the end of the year. It could be September, October, November, December, that kind of time period. So in that case, it could be very possible that no further cars will be added to the game, because until its release announced, that's only around 6 to 9 months away. However, if it weren't to follow this release pattern, it were to come out 2026, that would potentially mean it couldn't come out for another 12 to 18 months if it were to be added at the end of 2026. Now, I find it quite far-fetched it would take that long to release, but even if it is in that case worst scenario, that means there'd be no new cars added to Horizon 5 for a year to a year and a half. I still think it's very possible that new cars will be added to the game, but it will be in a lower volume. Instead of it being 4 to 5 new cars every single festival playlist, which we've pretty much seen for the past few years, it will instead potentially just be 1 to 2. In fact, we've already seen this trend come into fruition. If you look at Series 43, the final actual original update, it's only got 2 new cars. You look at Series 41 and 42 combined, only had around 4 new cars in total, and before then, it was typically on the regular trend, but clearly on the decline in terms of new cars added. It's obvious that Forza is saving some of their best cars for Horizon 6 and not going to waste them per se on Horizon 5 when they could be added as a way of measuring hype, like new supercars, hypercars in the brand new game to get more eyes on it. But I still think it's likely new cars will come out in lower volumes, and especially DLC car packs. We've seen these become very increasingly more popular over probably the last 1 to 2 years in Forza, where periodically Forza have just thrown out a pack of 5 to 10 cars. You could pay $5 or $10 or even $1.50 per car in that pack, and I still think that's very possible. It would be outside of the Horizon Festival content, or even if they were, let's say, to vote on a Series 14 event, the developers would just add 1 to 2 new cars to kind of spice it up and keep things interested. I don't think it's likely 0 new cars will be added to the game, as how are they going to keep people interested? Because these old general Forza events, what's the point of completing them if you're not putting your progress towards unlocking anything unique or new? That's my outlook. I think it's likely cars will still come, and to add further proof to the pudding, new cars were leaked or found in the game files around 2-3 weeks ago. So what were these cars added for if no new cars can be added in Horizon 5 for at least 6 to 9 months? Were these all cars just added for the sake of Horizon 6 to test the physics on, get the licensing ready and have them prepared for Horizon 6? I mean, maybe, but I think there's a decent possibility some of these recently released cars will still come out in Horizon 5, just in lower volumes and maybe in some DLC paywall add-ons. Let me know what you guys think down below, like and subscribe for more, and of course check out and stay tuned for more news on Horizon 6 coming very, very soon.